I got obsessed with productivity, testing out all these apps and stuff. Over time, I have ended up simplifying my life a lot when it comes to productivity. It's about how to do more of what matters to you. It's about 3 things.
What are like the productivity staples for you right now? And this could be any like tools or apps.
So honestly, over time, I have ended up simplifying my life a lot when it comes to productivity. I was super into testing out all these apps and stuff back in the day. These days, the main thing that I've realized is that it's about 3 things, which conveniently have the acronym GPS. Goal, plan, system. What's the goal? What's the plan to get there? And what's the system to make sure we actually do the thing? And I find that in every domain of my life, if I just sit down for 5 minutes and identify what is the goal, what is the plan, and what's the system to get there, it just works. Like, for example, in fitness, the goal, build more muscle. What's the plan? Gym 3 times a week. What's the system? Gym 3 times a week. Cool. Yeah. And progressive overload. Okay, that's easy enough. Yeah. Now I can find an app like Strong or something, which is a nice way of inputting my workouts. Yeah. Or if it's like relationships, what's the goal? Healthy relationship with my girlfriend. What's the plan? Okay, we're going to do this, this, this. And what's the system? Date nights twice a week. Okay, that's in the calendar. That's nice and easy. And so I'm trying to think in those GPS terms for every area of my life in which I actually have a goal.
Got it. How about with like podcasts, for example?
As in with the podcast?
Yeah, you doing a podcast, like what's the goal, plans, like real life example again?
Oh, sure. So if I were doing it for the podcast, so I don't think about this for the podcast because we have a podcast producer and so she figures out the goal, plan, and system. So I've kind of removed that from my mind. But if I think about writing books, for example, I've written this one, I want to write future books. The goal is to write and publish a book every few years, roughly. It's a very loose goal. I don't really believe in SMART goals because, yeah, they work, but like they can be a bit too specific. And sometimes I think a vague goal is totally fine. So like write and publish a book every few years. Cool. So that's the goal. The plan is how am I going to get to the goal? And so basically what that involves is having a Notion page in my case that's like, okay, these are the 8 different ideas for the books I have. And I reckon the next one will either be the fitness book or another personal development book. Cool. I've now got the plan. And the system is, I think if I just write 500 words a day, that'll probably get me to my goal and then some. Great. So let's just write 500 words a day and let me just track it in a Google Sheet so I make sure I actually do it, or in the Streaks app on my Apple Watch or whatever. And so goal, plan, system.
So tell us about the book and what's the home run with it?
Yeah, so the book is called Feel Good Productivity. It's about how to do more of what matters to you in a way that's hopefully enjoyable and meaningful and sustainable. I got obsessed with productivity when I was working as a doctor and trying to build my YouTube channel and business on the side. Because it's like working as a doctor is pretty demanding. There's all this stuff going on. And I'd get home from work and I'd be totally drained and think, I just don't have the energy. I've got some time, sure, but I don't have the energy to work on my YouTube channel. And after sort of coming close to burnout, I had a moment of epiphany where I realized, hang on, like, does work really need to be this grindy? Do I need to get home from work every day feeling drained? And I started looking into it and started doing a bunch of research and found that basically there's one secret to productivity, and that is to make your work feel good. Feeling good, positive emotions, positive affect in the scientific literature. When you feel positive emotions about anything you do, it creates energy, it makes you more productive, it makes you more creative, it makes you less stressed. And so the whole idea of the book formed around this experience that I was having in real life, which is, how can I find a way to make everything I'm doing just feel good? That's not to say it has to be fun all the time. Being a doctor is not fun all the time. Being a YouTuber or entrepreneur is not fun all the time. But there are so many things that we can do to make it feel just a little bit better. And the better we can feel about our work, the more productive we're going to be. And it's so rare to meet people who are actually at the top of their game who don't enjoy what they're doing. And that's just the secret. And so the book is kind of like a bit of a scientific exploration. What are the practical, actionable strategies that we can actually use to make whatever we're doing feel that little bit better so that we're more productive? But also, it's also an inherent good for the thing to feel good. Like, I did an interview this morning for a magazine, and the journalist interviewing me asked, hey, does feeling good actually make you more productive? I was like, yeah, it does. But also that's sometimes not the point. Feeling good is itself a good thing. If more of us could feel good about the work we were doing, whatever the work is, it would just be a win for humanity. So partly it's about improving your productivity, but mostly it's about getting more enjoyment out of the things that you are already doing.
Ali, have you found your why yet?
I'm not sure. So sometimes I think I have, and sometimes I think I haven't. So in the times I think I have, I ask myself, what would I want written on my gravestone? What would I want my eulogy to read? And I actually wrote out my eulogy, like, I think a few weeks ago when I was thinking about this question. And every time I ask myself this over the last several years, it's always landed on this idea of being a teacher, just being like a really good teacher. And I think that's my why, to teach. and to learn cool things and to then share them with people in the hope that they'll find them useful. Sometimes in moments of doubt, I'm like, is that really my why? Is that really what I want? Do I want to build a $100 million business? And then usually I'm like, no, I think the teaching thing is actually the thing that I want to do. And so I think that's my why, but it's not so solid in my heart that I never question it. I always question it, but I always come back to it.